Welcome to the Fish Slap Effect podcast. I'm Tracy, and there's no James today because today I just want to talk to you a little bit about what's making a splash and what actually matters right now in marketing and tech. There has been so much going on just in this past month, evolution of things, lots of changes on different platforms. So I thought it would be kind of fun just to take about, 10 minutes of your time or so to run down a few of these topics that I thought were really important. I feel like every time I've opened one of the platforms, either Meta's copied something new, Google's changed how search worked, or someone launched another AI product that's going to change the world. So we're going to give you some of those headlines right now, just so there's some things that you can research and get into and make some fun predictions with me on what's up and coming. So first up, one of the coolest changes, something that I think every marketer's been looking forward to, is Instagram finally let you reorder your grid. So why does everybody care? Well, sometimes you want a certain aesthetic or you want something in a certain order or it just makes sense. You can finally edit what that grid looks like. So this has been a long time coming. It's super exciting. You don't have to delete and repost content or archive it to achieve a certain look. So now the debate becomes, what does my grid look like? What do I want to make it look like? How crazy do I want to go? Do I want to go with like some insane color scheme and do something really wild just so I can do it? Just because I can edit my grid now, or am I just going to kind of leave it alone? Right now I'm just leaving it alone and figuring out what I want to do. So I'll probably battle with that for a few weeks and then decide what kind of wacky stuff I want to put up there so I can continue to reorder my grid and have some fun. So that is Instagram. And, it only took about a decade, but we got there. Thank you so much to our friends over there. So why should you care though? Because someone, like if someone's trying to discover you and you're like, I would really like maybe these reels to pop up first. Yes, you can pin like your favorites, but you can only do that with so many. So now you can reorder. So the most important's at the top, or if you're going for a certain color scheme or theme, or you want it to go reel, photo, graphic, whatever it might be, you can do that without having to be so rigid on what's scheduled when and freak out when you accidentally post something in the wrong order. So that is a very exciting topic. Now on to the next one. And I have to keep my little paper here to stay on track because I can just jump down a rabbit hole and just continue to go round and round and round and round. So I got to keep my topics in front of me. So Facebook Plus. Okay. So seriously, y'all, like, what do we think about this? Who has tried it? Who will give Facebook any of their money for this? I will not be one of them. I'm sorry to say. I might for testing purposes, just to see what it does. But seriously, Facebook Plus is like $3.95 a month. Its Messenger and Stories includes premium features aimed at increasing engagement, but it like lets you make your Messenger look different. So what do I think? I feel like they're trying to rip what Snapchat is doing, and all the kids that are so excited about making their Snapchat messages look different and having all these cool features and things like that. That's what Facebook's trying to do, but I just don't know that the same demographic is on there, and I just don't know that all of us millennials are going to bite, and Gen Zs are going to be like, yeah, I can't wait to pay money to make that look cool. But I guess we shall see, right? If it really truly increases engagement in some kind of way on your feed, maybe we'll start to see some people embrace it. But I don't know. Could be a loss leader. I guess we'll see. I'm assuming ad revenue will jump in there at some point, and it'll be a place where maybe you can design something for your business to show up as a background or something like that, or there'll be some kind of interesting filter of some sort that you can potentially pay for. That's my guess, but they're going to have to monetize it at some point. So besides the $3.95 a month, but I'm interested to see how fast people jump onto that bandwagon. So that's really interesting. That's another big thing that just jumped out. Then Facebook forums, the retification of Facebook. So if you haven't tried forums yet, I would say try it. I think it's pretty cool. My Facebook feed specifically gets inundated just because we manage so many client pages. So notifications from everything under the sun shows up. So it just becomes overwhelming. And if I just want to look at the buy sell group in my local area or different events that are happening or something that has to do with like an expert group that I'm in or something like that, it can be hard to find those notifications. I really like Forum because you just download the app and it syncs up with your Facebook page and you just see the groups that you belong to. So that's essentially your feed on there, which is kind of cool. So it feels a little bit like Reddit. It's easier to organize your conversations. And to me, it's a little bit easier to follow topics when you don't want everything else and all the noise. So I feel like that's kind of cool. It seems like Facebook is doubling down on, enhancing their communities. I think this is going to be really great for people who manage groups because now all of your group interactions are all in one place. So you can kind of separate out what's happening on your pages versus your groups because now you can solely focus on like engaging with the community within your groups. So I do think forums is pretty cool. And I think it was also kind of fun that I was able to jump on there really early to test it out before they even had enough users. It was like showing up. Was able to hop on some special link, which was cool. So that was really neat to be able to go in there and play around with Forum. So definitely, I would highly recommend you check this out. It's going to be a great source to engage with groups, especially if your business has a group. There's a lot of e-commerce brands or, like local businesses that sell shirts and hats and do different things like that and have their VIP group. I would say this would be a great place for you to be able to engage with your community on there to just filter everything else out and only focus on group engagement. Now, on to our next thing that is new and exciting. Well, it's not as new anymore, but definitely something to keep up with is the new alphabet soup, AEO and GEO. Do we know what it is? Do we not know what it is? So you have SEO, search engine optimization, and now we have AEO, answer engine optimization, and GEO, generative engine optimization. And just to explain the difference, SEO helps you get found in the SERPs and search engine results page. AEO becomes the answer to a question. So somebody asks a question and that shows up in like Gemini, for example, in the AI searches. That's your AEO, how we're optimizing for that, or in ChatGPT or in Claude, etc. And then GEO becomes the source AI systems use when generating the answers. So all of which are important. So it's crazy because now we have three things that we need to focus on. And actually local SEO, which is a fourth to add to the bucket. So when we're thinking about it, it's not just, our goal isn't just to rank anymore. It's to become the source that not only people trust, but that all the robots trust too. So how do we do that? So we think about who's the best dentist in Tampa, for example, or who should I call for HVAC services, or what's the best gym near me? AI isn't always going to just show a bunch of links. They're going to search and look at reviews. They're going to look at backlinks. They're going to look at websites. They're going to look at the market that you're searching in. And then they're going to generate an answer. So you're thinking like, you've got to start to think about FAQs and things like that. So it's like when you start to think about, well, why should I care about this? And why is this important? Because if your website is not structured properly, AI may never mention you. Think about your website closing your eyes and going, if I were a robot, how would I read this website? Do I just have photos and I have no text that backs anything up? Do I have FAQs? Do I have robust descriptions? Am I answering questions on my website? Because if I'm not, there's no way that these AI bots are going to be able to answer the questions inside of these different types of searches. So there's that piece. And visibility is becoming even more important than ranking. So your website may rank on the second page, but in a search through AI searches and through those AI descriptions in search, you may come up like the top recommendation because of some of the way that your content is structured. So you may be able to outrank there versus through the search engine's results page. And authority and trust signals matter more than ever. So think of your reviews and all of your local listings. So important. So what can we do to help impact this? We can create topic clusters. We can structure websites so AI can easily understand and cite the information. And we can focus on expertise, authority, and trust. And when you think about that, think about where your information sits and what backlinks you have. And I'm not talking about the old days of like buying a bunch of backlinks. I'm talking about authoritative websites that make sense through context of what you're searching. Because when you think of like the old school days of SEO and you buy 100 backlinks and you're on all these really wild blog sites that have absolutely nothing to do with your business, that does not help you as far as these answers are concerned. We're looking for authoritative links. One example that I always like to make when I do trainings on this specific topic is our chambers of commerce for local businesses show up as a resource whenever we run searches for different types of local businesses, because it's really authoritative. It gets a lot of visits and it's answering questions. So just some things to think about, join your local chamber. And then last but not least, Google AI search is no longer coming. It is here. Google has integrated generative AI directly into search. AI overviews are becoming standard, and ads are now appearing inside AI-generated experiences, and we can place there. So as Google partners, when we set up campaigns and we have a search campaign, we can actually set up a search campaign that's specifically focused on the AI-generated experiences, so the ads will show up within those overviews or kind of in between. So my take is this isn't something that's coming in the future. It's happening right now. So going back to what we were just talking about, business owners should care about search behavior has fundamentally changed. People want answers, not just links. You're asking a question now. It's in the past, like you would make a search online and you may ask a question, but not as directly. Now that we're also used to using ChatGPT and using Gemini or Claude, etc., we're adept at asking a question, like a real question, like we're talking to a friend, like I'm talking to you right now, I'm asking you a question. That's what we're going to search. So that is what is here to stay. And now we have to adjust our content accordingly. Brands with strong authority are appearing more frequently, and visibility across AI platforms is becoming a competitive advantage. So there is going to be more coming on this. I'm going to do some trainings on this. We'll post some stuff on YouTube, so kind of keep an eye out. And we'll post some videos around how you can optimize your business. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's so much to say on this topic. There's no way I can squeeze it into a podcast episode without boring everybody to death. So if you're still measuring success solely by rankings, you're looking at yesterday's scoreboard. You need to start thinking about today. Adjust content strategies, create content that answers questions directly, build authority around core topics, and look beyond rankings and focus on discoverability. So think about what are the frequently asked questions that people ask about your business, and you need to be able to answer those questions on your website through your content and weave that in, and that's going to help you show up. So just in closing, if there's one theme across all these updates, it's this. Platforms are changing how people discover information. Instagram wants better profiles, Facebook wants stronger communities, and Google's wants to give answers instead of links. And AI is sitting in the middle of all of it. So the businesses that are going to win over the next few years won't necessarily be the loudest. They'll be the easiest to trust, the easiest to understand, and the easiest for people to find and for AI to find. So that's my marketing yap. If I missed anything, don't worry. Next time we hop on here, everything's going to change again. So we'll have a whole new section to rant about. But it was fun chatting with you today. And make sure to give us a like, a follow, share, and subscribe. And look forward to seeing you again soon.